Everyone, welcome to Chapter 3, Part 1 of the Time Value of Money. Let's take a look at our learning objectives. So we'll start with calculating future and then present values. We'll discuss how we can rearrange our equation to calculate interest rates and waiting time. And finally, we will consider applying TVM equations using spreadsheets, which will be the main method in how we solve for these questions. Before we discuss calculating any questions, I do want to discuss using timelines. Okay, very good idea to start getting in the habit of creating timelines. I'm sure many of you that have taken the business math courses before are familiar with this. So basically, there's two timelines here, whether in the first place money is moving forward. Okay, so we have our present value, money moves to a future date, and that future value should increase. Second option would be we are looking at money already in a future value, and we want to determine the present value, so money would be moving backwards. And when that happens, the value should be discounted. So let's begin with the future value and compounding interest. Now, when a sum of money is invested into an account that pays a rate of interest for the period during which money is invested, the value of that money at the end of the stated period is called the future value, sometimes called compound value of the sum of money. Now, this type of calculation is done when determining the attractiveness of an alternative investment, or when one is trying to figure out the effect of inflation on future cost of an asset, such as a car or a house. Later on, we will use the expected annual inflation rate instead of the rate of interest in order to calculate the future cost of an asset. So remember, we're just trying to figure out or see the basic math, and we can later on apply it to more practical financial decisions. Now, first scenario is a single period scenario. So in this case, we have John. He's depositing $200, and it's just for a 1 year period, and the account pays a 6% interest rate. And at the end, we want to figure out how much we have. So we have the math there for us, but let's go ahead and draw that timeline so we can visually see what's happening in this question. So we always want to ask the first question, is money moving forward or backwards? Now, since we're doing future value, we know money is moving forward. We know that John deposited $200, and in a year, we want to figure out how much that $200 is worth, given the 6% interest. So again, we have our present value, which is $200, and we're trying to figure out our future value. Now the math is done for us. We can see that we have accumulated $12 in interest. Therefore, our present value went from $200 to $212. So in a single period scenario, the future value of a sum of money would equal the original sum plus the amount of interest earned over that period. Let's move on to the multiple period scenario. So in a multiple period scenario, if the amount of money is left in the account for multiple periods, such as 2 years or more, then the future value of a sum of money would be equal to the original sum plus interest over the multiple periods involved, plus interest earned on interest as well. So in this case, we're trying to see what happens if that money stays in the account for more than a year. So in this case, John closes out his account after 3 years. We want to know how much that value has accumulated. And also what happens if he closes it out after 10 years. And in this case, we're actually trying to figure out the interest on interest. And again, this is just a way to start recognizing the value of compounding interest. So in this case, the interest on interest is $2 after 3 years. and after 10 years, it's $38.17. So we can start to see the effect multiple period scenario has on future values. In regards to solving future values, and actually in regards to solving all of these time value money scenarios, we're going to really focus on method 3 because, as it states, it's very versatile. You have it available, particularly in an online course. It's very good to be able to use Excel, and it's very much practical in the real world when you start looking at hospitality examples. Financial calculator is also a good method as well. It is available to you through MyLab. So, but really, I want you to have a good practice and understanding on how to use the spreadsheet in order to solve for these future values. So in regards to the calculator and the spreadsheet, these are some variables that will be helpful for you. But again, not to worry about learning these right away. You'll figure them out as we go through the homework questions. Let's take a look at one more method of solving future values, one more example. Okay. So here we want to figure out how much money you'll have accumulated in a bank after 4 years if you deposit $5,000 of your high school graduation gifts into an account that pays a fixed interest rate of 5% per year. So we leave the money untouched for 4 years. So again, we'll start with our timeline. So our money is moving forward, and we've started with a present value of $5,000, and we're trying to figure out after 4 years what is the future value. So it's also a good idea in your timeline to write what the interest rate is. So in this case, we have an interest rate of 5% or 0.05, and the time or the number of years is 4 years. So let's take a look at the math here. Again, we can use our formula method, okay, calculator method, or spreadsheet method. Again, don't worry too much about the numbers right now, but we should recognize the money moving forward should increase. Okay, and we can see that there's been an increase of about $1,000.77. In dollars rather. So that's an example, but again, we'll take a look at more examples in the homework. We'll conclude this video on future values, and the next video will be discussing present value and discounting. Thanks for watching, and happy financing.